And that's the problem is you have shit that happens, and you unfortunately have girls who feel threatened by the director, are shut down by their agent.
By everybody, yeah.
Or there's this, stop stirring shit up. If you do you want to keep working, stop it. And that mentality
Not true anymore.
No, it's not, because like you said, you have your own brand. You put in the work. You don't need any of us. At this point, it's what it's always has been is take away, like if you take the models out of this, MindGeek goes away. Kink goes away. Everybody. Just, all of the companies go away without the models. And the models now have a platform that they can exercise the right of, well, you need me.
Right. Or you treated me badly, so I'm not going to come back.
Yeah. And
I really kind of couldn't do that before.
You had to shut up and take it.
Kind of. Yeah. You know, especially some of the new, I've been blessed to have a lot of work. But if you're only working 5-6 times a month, are you going to give away 2 of those shoots? That would be a disaster.
Let's see. We have been saying since last year, the year before, and we're going to continue to push this in 2023, that there is a war out there against the porn industry, but it's not only the porn industry. These are the people that want to change the rules of your speech, your freedom of speech. They want to change the obscenity rules. They want to remove the Miller's test. That means people like Dave Chappelle and many others could not do comedy routines because basically they would be arrested. And you don't think that this happened? For those of you young viewers out there that didn't know that this happened, there was several comedians like Lenny Bruce and George Carlin who were arrested in their youths for their comedy routines because people thought it was obscene, and there were some rules, state per state, that they could not do these acts, that they couldn't talk about these things. And people found it obscene, and the cops showed up and they were arrested. But now you have people in the industry starting to warn you now that basically there are those coming, that they're attacking certain industries. They're starting out in one part and then moving across. And one particular porn actress who has touted herself the stepmom to the internet has decided to throw her 2 cents in. But before we start, don't forget to hit that like, subscribe, share. Thank you for those who have subscribed to us, who have shared the program, commented on all of our social media platforms. We're hoping we'll hit 1,000 subscribers this year on YouTube. We are about, let's see, around 400 something to go, which hopefully we'll get that. We're like a little over 600 at this point. And we think we had a big push. We had a big push at the end of the last year. And hopefully we get another push this year again. So let's get on with this. And I'll tell you, once again, thank you for those, and Happy New Year to everyone out there. Like I said, we've discussed the attack on the porn industry, the manga industry, the anime industry, and the attack on the Miller's test. And a lot, this is coming from both sides of the aisle. This is not something where they say like it's the far left, the far right. It's coming from both sides of the aisle. And the thing about it is that there are people out there, whether it's ideology, religion, or whatever you want to put it there, that want to eliminate certain things. And believe it or not, becomes a freedom of speech issue. It doesn't matter what you think, and I get my detractors on BitChute that says, porn is evil, it's sinful, and I understand. Nobody's telling you to watch it. But like every other entertainment entity out there, it has been made. It's been around for a long time. And the thing about it is that, if someone wants to watch it, you can't stop someone from watching it. It's to them, if it's something that stimulates as a couple, they want to use it to stimulate the romance or anything to that nature, they can watch it. Or I'll tell you something, if they happen to be someone that basically, what's the old saying? You got the itch. Sometimes you got to scratch the itch. And using pornography, there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. And, the detractors out there that there's like saying, well, it causes drape and it causes this and that. They're wrong, because there are no research that defines that basically that it is a cause. This is the same arguments that they have with video games and music. And they say that it causes violence, that basically kids go out and buy guns and they shoot out schools. None of this, there's no scientific research that has been done on it. You get people that say that they're scientists and they said they've done the research, and they haven't really gotten any backing on it. There have been actual research done, and basically it has been backed, and it's out there for all of those for you to watch. But see, the thing about it is, here's the other part that's part of this, is that they don't want you to see that. They want to manipulate you and to control you this way, and by doing things like this. Now, if you're familiar with Cherie DeVille, she's a porn actress in the industry on that. Spokesmodel for the Liquid Death water.
Want to murder my thirst? I reach for a can of Liquid Death mountain water, because even though I'm into getting my by somebody who can really, one thing I'm not into is single-use plastics.
And like I said, she titles herself stepmom to the internet, which is funny on that. I love that too. But she wrote a little article out there for the Daily Beast. It's an editorial, and XBiz picked it up, and we're going to read into this from XBiz. Cherie DeVille warns against J.D. Vance anti-porn crusade. Now, if you're not familiar with J.D. Vance, he's a Ohio senator-elect that basically has been on a rampage responsible. If you're familiar with the Pornhub lawsuit and several other things that have been going on with NOSCOS and stuff like that, J.D. Vance is also involved in a lot of this. This shows you these are some of the people that are out there trying to censor things by destroying some of these companies. Are there some issues that they're progressing out there that are problems, like cheese pizza and smuggling and stuff like that? Yes, but this is not the places you need to attack. This is the false flag, the red herring. Cherie DeVille has penned an editorial for the Daily Beast warning about the ongoing anti-porn crusade by Ohio Senator-elect J.D. Vance. Titled, "J.D. Vance is coming for your porn, watch out." The piece was published and tackled the head-on Republican censorship agenda. The year 2022's DeVille explained that has been one of the best and worst years to be a porn star. On the one hand, OnlyFans continues to help performers sell their content, driving a significant comeback for the industry that had nearly died because of online piracy. But while becoming a sex worker is less stigmatized than ever in some circles, backlash brewed in other arenas. Right-wing evangelical Layla Mickelwaite teamed up with billionaire Bill Ackerman to demand credit card companies stop processing payments on Pornhub and the protest work. See, this is the situation. Has nothing to do with cheese pizza. They're going to use it against these sites. And we've talked about stories before. We have the Arkansas lawsuit that's also going through. We have this one. They attacked Visa. Visa is going to be involved in this lawsuit as well. DeVille predicts that the war on porn could intensify in the next year due to Vance's long-standing hostility toward free speech that involves sexual content. This is not only sexual content. This is free speech overall. As experts reported, Vance, a finance executive, memoirist, and personal protege of tech investor and Elon Musk associate Peter Thiel, who was narrowly elected in November, has called for an outright ban on porn. I think the combination of porn abortion have basically created a really lonely, isolated generation that isn't getting married, that they're not having families, and they're not actually even totally sure how to interact with each other, he told the Catholic magazine Crisis in 2021. It has nothing to do with the porn. It has to do with politics. It has to deal with the ideology that's going on in Washington right now. You have the far left that basically doesn't want marriage. They've pushed this for a long time now. If you think that the porn is the reason for that, you're sadly mistaken. The porn has been around since oh God, for many, you could go back to the current porn industry goes back to the 60s, but even further back before that, all the way back to the silent era, and beyond that, because basically you got the remnants of porn and stuff like that, like the Kama Sutra and many other artifacts that have throughout history that have sat there, from tribes and stuff like that, that promoted porn in certain ways. And most people don't realize that. Vance's proclamations, DeVille explained, comes at a time when fringe extremists, including the rapper formerly known as Kanye West, are pushing for porn prohibition. Their demands may lack legal grounding, but they pose serious threats. If Vance was merely a lone anti-porn senator, DeVille continued, he would be frightening but less dangerous. Unfortunately, many other Republicans hold anti-porn views, including Missouri Senator Josh Hawley and West Virginia Jim Justice. Among the fringe right extremists, DeVille continued, Ye pushed a gross anti-Semitic conspiracy theory that the Jews operated MindGeek to poison people's minds during a very recent visit to the Proud Boys founder Gavin McMahon's streaming show. DeVille also warned that politicians and fringe voices can create a mood that stifles speech, nothing that the harm sex worker rights and freedom of speech that the activism of powerful, wealthy, well-connected activists such as Ackerman can bring. Although the California-based DeVille thinks of herself can ride out the anti-porn backlash, she worries that pornographers in red states and younger stars could find their livelihoods threatened by political leaders like Vance. Sure, there wasn't a red wave in the midterms, but it doesn't take a red wave to threaten speech, as Ackerman and others show. It just takes a few rich, loud, rich nut jobs. And Cherie's right. She's right. This is people who don't give a shit about the general public. They care just about, being in the Senate, the White House, whatever. And like I said, this is both sides of the aisle. When people say, well, you criticize the left more than the right. Yeah, I do, because there are people that stand out on the left more than the right. But still, there are dangers on both sides of the aisle. And the thing about it is, you have to remember, we have a constitution. We have freedom of speech, freedom of religion. We have all that down the line in the Constitution on there. We also have, there are certain rules and regulations in between. Miller's test is one of the biggest things that I keep discussing about, that a lot of these senators want to get rid of. They want to redefine obscenity. Why? The way that it is now, that 1970s Miller's test is the perfect way to explain obscenity. And the thing about it is that without that, we're going to be going back. I know there was one particular politician, I think was it Mike Lee, that wanted to go back and basically go back to the 1930s. 1930s, you had a lot of censorship. You had the code era where basically movies, you had a code of ethics in movies and television, when television came in on there. And, you know, stuff that there was in the early 30s, you couldn't do afterwards when the new rules came out. And then in the 50s to 60s, the rules were deemed unconstitutional by the Supreme Court. And now you have the MPAA. But then, you know, you have situations with the Miller's test. Before the Miller's test, you had comedians being arrested. You had porn directors and actors and actresses being arrested for obscenity. Do you remember how certain movies were banned back in the day? You know, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, perfect example. They banned, certain places banned Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Why? Because they thought, oh, it was going to be grotesque and stuff like that. Have you watched the movie? Have you sat down, watched the entire movie, and see how it is? Is it as grotesque as some of the films today? No. It's a great film. It's well shot. You know, the way it's done, the horror is done the right way. It's the same way with a lot of other films from that era. You know, Hitchcock was the master of it. You know, he explained it best. It's like you shock people by not telling that it's going to happen. You know, if you tell the viewer, if you tell the movie watcher what's going to happen, they're not going to enjoy it. They're not going to get the experience that they were expecting from that movie. This is the things that happens. You know, we have countries around the world that are banning porn. You had the Russians have banned all gay, lesbian, trans porn in the country. And they've banned everything else. And we have an article coming out on that as well. Anything that reflects homosexuality, trans, is banned in Russia right now, currently, on this current administration. And people don't realize is that, you know, the more you continue to do things like this, the more freedoms you lose. And the thing about it is, you know, you may not think that LGBTQ may not be as important as in another country, but there are other countries that have similar laws on the books or are working on for similar laws. And then you have the other end of the spectrum that there are people within that community promoting stuff like, you know, the drag queen and that drag queen shows and stuff like that, where children are not supposed to be there. No, they're not supposed to be there at all. And they're trying to push this. And this is not the main gay community. You have a group called, and I can't say it on this channel because I'd probably be on there, but it is a gay group that basically has been promoting that, you know, you need to stop this, that they're basically telling you, do not let this happen. We do not promote this. We are, you know, this is not something from our community. This is radicals who are trying to get to children. And you know the word I'm talking about. And it is amazing how that the media has just hidden all the major issues, all the problems that on there, and pushed it to the point where it's like, porn is bad, anime is bad, it's cheese pizza, this and that. You know, people are out there fighting for our rights every day. We discuss this on a daily basis, that basically porn is part of our community. Whether you agree with it or you can disagree with porn. You don't have to watch it. Nobody's telling you to watch it. People had no problem. The same people that are complaining, that are saying that, oh, we should have Drag Queen Story Hour or these drag queen shows, are the same people that want to get rid of porn. Think about that for a minute. Think about that for a minute. These are the same people that were okay when Netflix put cuties on their website, where 10-year-olds were gyrating on video. 10-year-olds. We're still asking in 2023, where are all the audition tapes that were used to audition these 10-year-olds. Who has them? Guaranteed they're being sold out there. Guaranteed that. So comment below and tell me your thoughts of this whole situation on there, and JD Vance and many others who have taken on this fight to try to censor you. And this is censorship. Understand, this is censorship. Whether you believe, you think this is a conspiracy or not, look up the laws. Look at the way it's worded. They use the media to throw word salads at you, to frighten you, thinking that it is one thing and it's actually another. This goes into the socialist playbook. This is what the socialists have been doing. The real true fascists. This is what the Germans did during World War II, what the Italians did in World War II, what the Japanese did in World War II. This is what they're doing. You know, even the Russians, it's the same situation. History continues to repeat itself, and we need to stop this now. So, comment, subscribe, like, share. Thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you on the next video. Bye-bye now.
Come on, don't f the planet.